Hello again to another Agakala Reacts. And today we'll be watching, or I should say that today is an anniversary, because of the 7th January 1610, Galileo Galilei discovered the first 3 moons of Jupiter, Io, Europa and Ganymede. So, if you've ever seen The Expanse, my favorite show, you know there's a Ganymede there and moon, and basically they have like stations, and there's domes that they, growing food for the whole belt and the system. And there's a big fight in those domes. It's a long story, but there's a lot of actually happening there. So, and I don't think there was something they actually in the same season they went to Io as well, but Europe, I don't think they visited Europa yet. Anyway, let's just get into it. And let's see. What is this? Oh, I'm actually gonna watch video from Today in History, and it's called Today in History. Galileo Galilei discovers the first 3 moons of Jupiter, Io, Europa and Ganymede. So let's just watch. It's loud.
The discovery of the Galilean satellites. Probably the most significant contribution that Galileo Galilei made to science was the discovery of the 4 satellites around Jupiter that are now named in his honor. Galileo first observed the moons of Jupiter on January 7, 1610, through a homemade telescope. He originally thought he saw 3 stars near Jupiter, strung out in a line through the planet. The next evening, these stars seemed to have moved the wrong way, which caught his attention. Galileo continued to observe the stars and Jupiter for the next week. On January 11th, a 4th star, which would later turn out to be Ganymede, appeared. After a week, Galileo had observed that the 4 stars never left the vicinity of Jupiter and appeared to be carried along with the planet, and that they changed their position with respect to each other and Jupiter. Finally, Galileo determined that what he was observing were not stars, but planetary bodies that were in orbit around Jupiter. This discovery provided evidence in support of the Copernican system and showed that everything did not revolve around the Earth. Galileo's observations of Jupiter's moons. Galileo published his observations in Sidereus Nuncius in March 1610. I should disclose and publish to the world the occasion of discovering and observing 4 planets, never seen from the beginning of the world up to our own times, their positions, and the observations made during the last 2 months about their movements and their changes of magnitude, and I summon all astronomers to apply themselves to examine and determine their periodic times, which it has not been permitted me to achieve up to this day. On the 7th day of January in the present year, 1610, in the first hour of the following night, when I was viewing the constellations of the heavens through a telescope, the planet Jupiter presented itself to my view, and as I had prepared for myself a very excellent instrument, I noticed a circumstance which I had never been able to notice before, namely that 3 little stars,
I wonder if the storm was already there.
Planet, and although I believed them to belong to a number of the fixed stars, yet they made me somewhat wonder, because they seemed to be arranged exactly in a straight line, parallel to the ecliptic, and to be brighter than the rest of the stars, equal to them in magnitude. When on January 8, led by some fatality, I turned again to look at the same part of the heavens, I found a very different state of things, for there were 3 little stars all west of Jupiter, and nearer together than on the previous night. I therefore concluded, and decided unhesitatingly, that there are 3 stars in the heavens moving about Jupiter, as Venus and Mercury around the Sun, which was at length established as clear as daylight by numerous other subsequent observations. These observations also established that there are not only 3, but 4, erratic sidereal bodies performing their revolutions around Jupiter.
There's actually 72.
Claimed to have observed Jupiter's moon as early as late November 1609, about 5 weeks prior to Galileo, and had begun recording his observations in January 1610 at about the same time Galileo was first making his observations. However, since Marius did not publish his observations right away as Galileo had done, his claims were impossible to verify. Since Galileo's work was more reliable and extensive, he is generally given the credit for discovering the moons of Jupiter. Jupiter is much blamed by the poets on account of his irregular loves. 3 maidens are especially mentioned as having been clandestinely courted by Jupiter with success. Io, daughter of the river, Inachus, Callisto of Lycaon, Europa of Agenor. Then there was Ganymede, the handsome son of King Tros, whom Jupiter, having taken the form of an eagle, transported to heaven on his back, as poets fabulously tell. I think, therefore, that I shall not have done amiss if the first is called by me Io, the second Europa, the third, on account of its majesty of light, Ganymede, the fourth Callisto. This fancy, and the particular names given, were suggested to me by Kepler, imperial astronomer, when we met at Ratisbon Fair in October 1613. So if, as a jest, and in memory of our friendship then begun, I hail him as joint father of these 4 stars, again I shall not be doing wrong. Galileo originally called the Jupiter's moons the Medicean planets, after the Medici family, and referred to the individual moons numerically as I, 2, 3 and 4. Galileo's naming system would be used for a couple of centuries. It wouldn't be until the mid-1800s that the names of the Galilean moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, would be officially adopted, and only after it became very apparent that naming moons by number would be very confusing as new additional moons were being discovered.
So I'm gonna check now, because let's see. How many moons have Saturn? Oh, how many? Okay, so oh wow, I thought that's not Saturn. I mean Saturn. I'm talking Jupiter. Saturn have 146 moons. Are you for real? I always thought that Saturn and Jupiter have about the same amount, like 70 something. Jupiter 95. I'm sorry. Are the numbers changing or what? What's going on? I'm pretty sure I was checking how many moons is in there, like when I was watching The Expanse, and that wasn't that long ago. So 79, 1 moon. Okay, so does Jupiter have 80 or 95? Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, boasts. I can't actually see it. 1 second here, guys. Boasts a whopping 92 moons, making it the second most populous planet in terms of its companions. 12 new Jovian moons were announced in February. Oh, this year? Okay, so, yeah. Oh, wow. 12 new moons, huh? That's cool. That's something. So it's 95 moons. And it's 146 moons for Saturn. As of June 8th, 2023. So that was all this year. So Saturn... Here, I'll show you. So Saturn, in size from larger than the planet Mercury, the giant moon Titan, to as small as a sports arena. The small moon Enceladus has a global ocean under a thick icy shell. 146 moons, wow. But yeah. But they found them all. And they all have names? Now the question is, do they all have names? Guys, do they? Do they know? Let's go down, okay. So there's, what's this? Year discovered, okay. A lot of them were discovered just in 2000, so cut these guys from here. So that was what, 1518, and then from that 2000, it's all the same. 2003, 2004, 5, 4, a lot of the same people. Cassini Imaging Science Team, okay, so there's someone like that, okay. Another 2004. There was a lot of new moons in 2004. Okay. In 2005. What? Why is it kind of jumping like that? 2006. 7. 19. Wow, that's a lot of in 19 as well. 2020. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. But Galileo was the first one to actually find them. And if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of killed for kind of not literally this, but just saying that the Earth is going around the sun and not the sun goes around the Earth, you know, things like that. So it was kind of sad. Yeah, that was interesting though. Stars. He was thinking there were stars at first. Okay, what do you think about it? What do you think about the fact that Jupiter have 97 moons and Saturn have 146? That's freaking mind-blowing. Thank you very much for watching and see you tomorrow. Bye!